Hey everybody, it's Darkstrider, and right now I'm about to play this Discovery Tour. I've been hearing great things about it. A lot of people are like actually excited about it. They think it's really cool and whatnot. So let's give this a whirl. Let's see what happens here. Wow, it's taking a long time to load. And I guess this is like a standalone game too. Like it could be purchased off of Steam for like 20 bucks, which I guess is kind of cool. But like everybody's talking about this, how it's like great, it's educational, they had fun with it, and I hadn't even started playing yet. So I'm kind of curious as to how good this thing is. That's kind of deep. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of research.
Welcome to Discovery Tour by Assassin's Creed Ancient Egypt.
Is this a Disney ride? Yeah, everybody's been talking about this, and I'm actually that's why like I wanted to play it because like I'm actually interested. I thought it was going to be boring and everything. Everybody has been telling me this is like one of the most fantastic things they've ever done in an Assassin's Creed game. Man, I really feel like I'm at like Disney. Number of stations. Ooh, it even has a
Welcome
time
to
limit.
Alexandria. Alexander's plan to build his great city began with a verse from Homer's Odyssey. There is, in front of Egypt, in the sea with many swells, an island called Pharos. Guided by these clues, Alexander the Great founded his future city at the western end of the Nile Delta.
Oh, wow. You know what's kind of cool about this? It's almost like you're one of the researchers from like one of the assassin sects. That's actually pretty cool. Like that's kind of like how they did this. That's actually cool. Look at this. Follow the little pattern here.
Though Alexander considered this location ideal for his great city, it presented considerable challenges. Too difficult to access during storms, the surrounding swamps threatened disease, and the limestone soil prevented the growth of healthy crops. However, due to the influence of his mentor Aristotle, Alexander the Great recognized that the true value was its strategic emplacement. Alexander knew that in controlling Pelusium to the east, Memphis to the south, and his crowning glory Alexandria to the west, he would create a triangular stronghold, allowing him to control the entire delta while giving him access to the Mediterranean. The Great Walls of Alexandria had a humble beginning. Lacking chalk to outline the future city's foundations, architects were forced to use flour instead. Clouds of migrating birds swept down and ate the flour, erasing the plans. This prompted Alexander to seek guidance from the oracles, who reassured him that his future city was destined to feed a large population.
Just out of curiosity, I'm going to see if I could... No, you can't. I was going to see if you could just go into like picture mode. Oh, yeah, you could. Not when it's in the text. Look at that. You could take some beautiful shots here. Being that you don't have to worry about being assaulted or assailed or anything like that. That's actually pretty cool.
Excavations led by Mahmud Bey al-Falaki in the 19th century revealed that the wall enclosure measured approximately 5.2 kilometers in length and 2.2 kilometers in width. It was roughly 9 meters in height. These formidable ancient walls would resist a number of attacks, including fending off the king of Syria in 169 BCE. It wasn't until 295 CE they eventually fell to Roman Emperor Diocletian, and this only after 8 months of relentless assault.
It's kind of wild. Wait, why would I call my mount? Holy cow.
These formidable ancient walls would resist a number of attacks, including fending off the king of Syria in 169 BCE. It wasn't until 295 CE that they eventually fell to Roman Emperor Diocletian, and this only after 8 months of relentless assault.
Whoa!
Alexandria's principal architect, Dinocrates, chose a Hippodamian grid plan. The grid maximized functionality, with wide, straight roads and canals running beneath them. Alexander recognized the military value of the city's design. The wide, parallel streets gave him optimal surveillance of the city, while allowing the unobstructed flow of troops.
I hope everybody's taking notes in case you ever have to freaking build yourself a fortress or a stronghold. What's happening, Kung Fu Kitten? This is actually pretty cool.
A central corridor ran from the Mediterranean's north port down to Lake Mareotis to the south. This thoroughfare acted as an unobstructed link for commercial trade and travel between the two ports. Many of the streets were bordered with grand buildings and parks, including Canopic Street, with its impressive gate bordering the eastern end.
Kerim. Ha! Whoa.
Alexandria was most likely built upon an already existing Egyptian village. Upon its completion, the Egyptians reviled the city, refusing to call it by its founder's name. Instead, they called it Raked, the building, as a mark of disdain, which was later Hellenized into Rakotis. Despite this, the name Alexandria would remain.
That's actually pretty cool. Oh, and a trophy for first visit. You can now explore ancient Egypt at your own pace. Oh, nice. Alright, so let's open the menu. Oh. Oh, wow, wait a minute. You could go into different... Wow, there's like all kinds of different areas for you to explore. Daily life, Romans. That's it, just these 5? Pyramids, Egypt. Want to do the pyramids. Oh my god, you have to actually fast travel to it. That's pretty wild. This actually looks pretty cool. Okay, I'm interacting. Oh, Star Tour.
Welcome to The Origin of the Pyramid.
Hey there, lady.
The origin of the word pyramid is controversial. Most believe that it originates with the Greek word pyramis, which referred to a bread of conical shape. Life and death in ancient Egypt were modeled on the cycle of the sun. The perfect shape of the smooth-faced pyramid became associated with the metaphor of the pharaoh transformed into one of the sun's rays in death. Pyramids represented the Benben, the primordial mound of the Heliopolitan creation myth. These stories permeated every aspect of Egyptian life to a greater or lesser extent.
That's pretty cool. Who eats triangular-shaped bread? Or conical bread? I've never even seen that.
During the pre-dynastic period, the development of funerary practices was different depending on whether one was located in Lower Egypt or Upper Egypt. Well before the pyramid, there was the burial pits. It is on the site of Merimde Beni Salame in Lower Egypt that we find the oldest funerary site, dating back to 5000 BCE. Study of the tombs revealed that the bodies of the deceased were deposited in a shallow grave, in a fetal position. Though a few objects were recovered from these graves, they offered no insight as to the social class of those interred within.
I wonder if they actually show you, like, the insides or, like, their interpretation of, like, what the bodies look like and stuff like that. That'd be kind of creepy, but
In
still
Upper Egypt,
educational. Yep, there it is.
pre-dynastic practices are easier to study, but reveal more complex funerary rites. They are divided into two cultural phases, Badarian and Nagada. The Badarian phase ranged from 4400 BCE to 3800 BCE. Small necropolises were discovered on the outskirts of villages, revealing the emergence of a funerary cult. The bodies of the deceased were lowered into an oval grave and covered with goat or gazelle skins. Items needed in everyday life were added alongside the body.
Damn, that's pretty interesting. Like, they thought there was going to be, like, a crazy afterlife.
During the three Nagada periods, ranging from 4000 BCE to 3510 BCE, funerary practices evolved in complexity. The shape of tombs changed from oval to rectangular, mimicking the homes of the living. The sites were stylized and numerous. Tombs gained complexity, with masonry, wooden veneers, or raw bricks added to strengthen the structures. In time, socially stratified necropolises emerged. For example, in Hierakonpolis, the elite and commoners had separate necropolises.
Jeez.
The term mastaba, meaning massive bench in dialectal Arabic, refers to a form of funerary architecture that was present in Egypt from the Archaic period to the Middle Kingdom. An evolution of the burial pit, mastabas were generally composed of two parts. A structure was built above the ground in the form of a massive rectangle with stepped walls, and a subterranean burial chamber was located underneath. Smaller mastabas often surrounded the much larger tomb of the king. These generally held the remains of the king's relatives and courtiers.
I thought there was supposed to be, like, multiple characters. I wonder if you could actually change characters.
The arrangement of the substructure of the mastaba evolved during the course of the Old Kingdom. From the 5th dynasty onwards, mastabas often featured multi-roomed substructures, with sometimes up to 30 rooms. Also, the quantity and quality of decorated surfaces increased noticeably, as well as the number of statues found within. The 6th dynasty would see art used to its utmost. The entire surface of a mastaba would be covered in scenes of daily life, illustrating the prosperity of those lucky enough to comfortably spend eternity near the pyramid of a pharaoh. The best example of this type of mastaba is the tomb of Meroruka in Saqqara.
That's pretty cool. It actually is pretty
There is
informative.
so much to discover.
Okay, being that that's complete now, go back into the thing. Oh, here we go. Characters, passport. Oh, look at that. Shows everything we did. Timeline. Wow! It even has a timeline describing the whole thing. That's pretty cool. Controls, dude. Map. Oh my god. It actually shows everywhere that you're available to go to on the map. That's actually pretty cool. I wonder if they will do something, oh look at this, you could be Bayek. Say, hold on. Caesar, Cleopatra. What? You could be Bill. You could be Layla. That's cool. Kamu. Okemu. Retta. Some of these are minor characters and background characters, obviously. Oh. Multiple Bayeks. I wonder if they're going to do something where you could actually play this with, or if they'll do like some kind of sequel to it or something. I think that would be pretty cool too. If they do like, I don't know, if they do some other kind of tours. Because I mean, we could see the map there. It would be actually pretty cool if you could see, you know, like other things that are going on there. That would be pretty cool too. They probably will, especially if this is successful. Like every Assassin's Creed game we get will probably have something like this. You'll get like a remake of, you know, like Rogue or something like that, and it'll show like some type of tour like they've got there. You get like some kind of remake of freaking Assassin's Creed 2, and you just playing throughout Italy, you do some kind of big tour. That would be kind of interesting.
Welcome to Osiris, the first mummy. The oldest mummies recovered date from the Old Kingdom, though Egyptologists was in use much earlier than that. At first, the body was mummified through environmental desiccation, by leveraging the dryness of the environment, and the heat in mummification were conducted with the use of resin made from tree sap. Strips of linen were only used on some superficial parts of the epidermis of the hands or jaw.
So the first ones were kind of by accident, and then they learned how to do it.
Ideologically, the will to preserve the body is not explained in any way until 3600 BCE. This is when the Egyptian belief that the body housed the soul was finally documented for modern Egyptologists to eventually decipher. It was not until the arrival of the myth of Osiris in the Egyptian religion around the 5th dynasty that mummification was thoroughly conceptualized. The practice was thereafter grounded in both a mythological and ideological point of view. Osiris was mainly known as the god of the dead and the god of resurrection. The most well-known Genesis myth concerning Osiris is that of his dismemberment. It is Plutarch who gives the most simplified and complete summary of the story. Within Egyptian mythology, Osiris represented the first king to rule Egypt. Jealous of his power, his brother Seth attempted to usurp his throne. After several unsuccessful attempts, Seth succeeded in killing his brother by dismembering him and scattering the pieces of his body all over Egypt. Isit, the Great of Magic, traveled all over Egypt in search of the pieces of her husband's body. After a long search, she recovered all the pieces save for his manhood, as it was eaten by a fish.
Well, that's not cool.
Isit then reassembled the body of her husband by binding it together with strips of linen. Aided by her sister Nephthys, another powerful magician, they gave Osiris the breath of life. This not only brought him back from the dead, but also allowed him to recover his virility long enough to impregnate Isit, thus ensuring his succession before, once more, dying. Thus Horus was born. The ritual used to bring Osiris back to life essentially depicts how he became the first mummy. It is why, on the sarcophagi of kings, we often find Isit and Nephthys represented as the magicians who restore life to the deceased.
Huh. Well, so far this is actually pretty interesting. This is actually like a pretty cool learning experience if you think about it. So I could see why people are like really into the whole Discovery Tour thing. Apparently, you know, there's just tons to do as far as like these tours go. There's like a lot of stuff that you can do here. So that's pretty cool. I think I was too caught up with New Game Plus and of course, um, you know, the Trial of the Gods to really pay this much attention, but it actually, it is pretty cool, like everybody's saying. It would be even cooler if, like, after you completed all the tours, like, it gave the main game something, you know, that would be kind of cool, too, but, I mean, beggars can't be choosers. But this will probably spawn, like, all kinds of other Discovery Tours and stuff like that, probably like a sequel to this, especially if they continue everything going on with Assassin's Creed. I could see them, they actually want to keep Assassin's Creed's longevity going.
Welcome to Amulets and Rituals.
Hello, lady. So I could see them actually doing this like with several games to come or like different modules that they do. It's actually a pretty cool thing. Alright, well that's all the time I have for now, everyone. Thanks for watching. It was pretty awesome having you here, and I mean, give this a try. It's actually pretty cool. I didn't think it was going to be this good. I thought it was going to be kind of boring. It's awesome.